The presentation of today's racing program is a copyrighted broadcast of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated. Any rebroadcast, recreation, or retransmission of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please stand for our national anthem. And they're off. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Saratoga Racecourse. And it's another very pleasant day in the great Northeast. A mix of sun and clouds, the temperature around 80 degrees, the main track is fast, and the turf courses are firm. Portable rails up on the melon at 27 feet and on the inner at 18 feet. We have a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of nearly $1.4 million, and today there is a mandatory payout. We'll have some big numbers there. Today the Empire 6 will start in race number 5. There are no changes to report in race 1. Second race, overweights. All horses will carry 1 pound over in race 2. In the third race, please note there'll be no show, trifecta, or superfecta wagering. Scratch number 4, critical value. Scratch the 4, and note that number 2 is 2 pounds over. In the fourth race, all horses carry 1 pound over. Race 5 starts that Empire 6. In the fifth race, a couple of scratches. Scratch 7, Simply Sweet, and 8, Thankful. Scratch numbers 7 and 8. And with the exception of number 4, all horses will be carrying 2 pounds over. Sixth race, number 3 is 2 pounds over. Today's seventh race will begin the cross-country pick 5. That's the first leg, race 7 here at Saratoga. And we have these overweights. Numbers 4, 8, 9, and 10 are 2 pounds over. In today's 8th race, scratch the 7, Buy Me Candy. Scratch number 7, Buy Me Candy. Featured 9th race is the Alidar Stakes. Scratch number 6, Tenfold. Scratch the 6. Numbers 2, 3, and 5 are 2 pounds over. And in today's 10th race, scratch number 7, Lorenzen. Scratch the 7. We have a couple of jockey changes. Number 2, Always Funny, will be ridden by Luis Saez. Luis Saez on the 2. And number 3, Constant Quest, will now be ridden by Benjamin Hernandez. Benjamin Hernandez to ride the 3, Constant Quest. And with the exception of numbers 4 and 9, all horses will be 1 pound over. Here at the Spa, we are fast and firm with an Empire 6 jackpot carryover of nearly $1.4 million. And today we have a mandatory payout. We'll be back at 12:30 to recap the changes. First race post is at 1:10. Up next, the mandatory payout edition of Talkin' Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Talking Horses, presented by Saratoga Water. Andy Serling, soon to be joined by Anthony Stabile. It is the day after the big day, and we'll talk about a little bit about Travers Day. We got a lot to talk about on today's card. We've got that mandatory giveaway. We'll get to that. You need to head to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, head on over to Naira Bets, and you will match up to $200 of your deposit bonus, and we use promo code SPA. Become a member of Naira Bet, support racing in New York. Mandatory payout in today's Empire 6. I think it's just dollars under $1.4 million. There's the number. That'll start in race number 5 today, 5 through 10 of our 10-race card. Mandatory payout of that $1.393 million carryover. Also, want to let people know, you play the 10th race here and the 4th race at Del Mar, we'll give you $5. You bet at least $25 through the app only. Also, we have a cross-country pick 5, I believe. It involves 3 races at Ellis Park, including we got 2 Run Happies, the Run Happy Audubon Oaks and the Run Happy Ellis Park Derby. When I think about prestigious races, that's one that comes to mind. Races, is this the first running of the Ellis Park Derby?
No.
The Run Happy?
Third, I believe, but it's the first at Mile and an Eighth because Churchill Downs assigned points to the race. They used to run it out of that funky mile chute they have there.
Art Collector is about to run out of chances to duck "'Tis the Law." And also want to remind people, Saratoga Live from 1 to 6:30 today, covering all the action. Head over to naira.com/Saratoga Live for all of the action. Anthony, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, it's
thank
funny
you.
how he's chosen the path of least resistance.
Yeah, that usually works out well. Let's talk about Tiz Law. Let's take a look at the stretch run of the Travers. And, you said it on Talking Horses. And I didn't say it was impossible. But, when was he going to have that breakout performance? And you said today, and you were 100% right.
You could just tell Barkley was getting ready to ignite the powder keg. That's just the way it looked to me and to a lot of people. And this is impressive. Andy, I've tried figuring this out last night. Between the two of us, we've probably watched 500,000 races in our life. Did you ever see a jock? Did you ever see a jock stand up before the 16th pole and not lose ground? I've never seen
but
it.
It also, to be fair, goes to the point that this geared down, they're not really going any slower. I mean, how much faster could he?
No,
really
well, I'm just
go?
saying. I mean, he's got a good hole. He was rolling,
yeah.
and
Caracaro, by the way, as I predicted, he ran very well. He got a 101 buyer in defeat.
A-okay.
I was talking to Javier today, and I said, about today or whatever, I said, maybe the Preakness for a horse like him. Now, obviously, it's a big gap, and if Tiz the Law keeps running the way he is, I don't know that he could close that gap in 2024. But that was an incredible performance.
See a horse
109
like him,
buyer.
A horse like Caracaro, you want to make him a Grade 1 winner? Point him for the Cigar Mile. A race like that where you'll get some weight from older horses and stuff.
Now he's missed his chance at the Run Happy Ellis Park Derby.
Yeah, he absolutely has. I mean, what else can you say about Tiz the Law at this point? Barkley said he would like the Belmont in 1.5 miles, and everybody laughed at him.
He was
After
right.
yesterday, you see why.
I agree. I put on Twitter that the track is fractions, 24 quarters and change and stuff. This horse was never slowing down. Look, it goes 7 miles. I agree. Barkley was right.
2 minutes and 4/5 seconds.
Yeah, we haven't had too many Travers that have gone in those kind of times. No, that was it was great. And I just want to say something else. Listen, we all wish that there could have been 50,000 people here. We wish there was a huge crowd here every single day, and it also would mean that our lives were back to a sense of normalcy. Mm-hmm. So don't mistake that for that. But in the way it's worked out so well because timing is always everything, and it would have been a different Triple Crown, and the Travers would be in 3 weeks, and maybe we were raining the last Saturday, God forbid, of August here. And who knows what would have happened in the Triple Crown? Who knows at that point how Nadal would have done against him? And I'm not saying, a lot of different things could have happened. And the way it's played out, it's playing out great for Tiz the Law, and he's a great story in racing at a time that good stories are really particularly special.
Yeah, and at a time where a lot of other sports, let's be honest, we're big baseball. I'm the biggest Mets fan there is, literally and figuratively. I don't really, I'm not into the baseball. I don't know all my friends who watch hockey and basketball. They're not really
watching basketball.
He's great. He's a great story because he has more attention on him as well, and he's going through this unique odyssey that, let's hope we never have to see this again. He's halfway to doing something. And you can
hopefully
even say,
no horse will ever have a chance to do it again in this situation. I agree, and I think it's a great story. And if this horse goes to Kentucky and wins the Kentucky Derby, it's going to be 4 weeks until the Preakness, and Tiz the Law is going to be in the news on the majority of those days. So this is a great story, and it couldn't happen to nicer people.
Yeah, listen, I
from the owners, the trainer, and the jockey, it's a great story all around.
Going back to funny side, Saratoga has been fantastic for this game. They don't spend a ton of money, and yet and
they're having fun.
And that's the most important thing. That's the most. If you're a fan, we're all fans before we're anything else. If we're sitting on this behind this desk,
you love the game.
If you love the game, and they're going to be 3 to 5. To win the Kentucky Derby.
I don't think so. 3 to 5 is an awfully low price. Depends on how many horses
he's prohibitive.
He's a big favorite. 3 to 5 is a
little.
We'll
lunch bet that on September 5th. He'll be.
I don't lunch bet it now.
He'll be.
By the way, it's 54 there, big boy.
I know. Yeah. Your horse ran well yesterday.
Yeah.
Your horse ran well yesterday. They're even money to win the Kentucky Derby. With
No,
the
they're
only
not.
Two,
They're not even might win the Derby.
With the only two New
I wish
York
they were
birds
1
of
to
all
5
time.
win the Derby, but
I don't know who else you want. That horse could lap that field today, and I'm betting Tiz the Law. That horse could lap the Run Happy Ellis Park Derby today. I'm still betting Tiz the Law.
The Run Happy Ellis Park Derby.
I said the Run Happy Ellis
Race
Park
number
Derby.
1. On to important things.
Yes, big carryover.
Listen, I'm rooting for Manny. He yelled at me after the race, so you didn't even pick me. I told him I did him a favor. Race number 1. I'm going to tell you something. Stoney Bennett, who's 6-5 right now, we'll take a look at his race at Laurel. He's finally running after being entered and scratched at least a couple of times.
Yeah.
You know, you run this race, you come back for 12-5, and he's been entered cheaply. How much do you trust this horse?
I don't. I put him 4th today. I don't like this horse today.
He might win.
Yeah, he could
My
win.
feeling of this race is there's a heck of a lot of horses in here that I don't want to bet on, and he's one of them. Will I be surprised when he wins? No, but I'm not betting him.
Yeah,
I don't trust him.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, Vineyard Sound's inside, and Vineyard Sound found a lot of speed.
Nah, he's
last
not
time
fast. No,
out.
he didn't.
Okay.
No, at 22 and 3 at 6.5 furlongs. Yeah, that'll put him about 4 lengths off the pace in this race.
They're putting the blinkers back on. Malpay.
Well, Malpay is the speed.
Right.
I mean, that's the problem for Stoney Bennett.
Yeah.
Malpay, assuming he doesn't stumble again. And, you know, you talk about it. I mean, let's talk about We Should Talk, who you have second, and I had, the infamous 5th pick. He won on a speed track this day, you know. The rail was good. It wasn't a huge rail, but he took advantage of the track, and where's he been? And it's not like he hasn't had plenty of chance to come back. You want to trust him?
No, I don't trust him, but it's like you said. He took advantage of the track that day, and he's really not a speed horse. So we just mentioned both Stoney Bennett and Malpay. There should be some pace on in here for him, and at the very least, I think he can be in close enough proximity when they hit the turn.
He could win.
That
I don't
he's one of
trust
the
him.
first horses.
I think
Do you
Deep
trust
Sea is
anybody? I don't trust any of them.
I don't trust a single horse near. That's why I went to prices. And I don't trust either. By the way, my 2 prices might run last and second to last, and
Right.
that I would save without exacta. By the way, if I was playing, but you know, Deep Sea, Anthony, that was a wildly slow pace last time, so it got him into the race. I know you think there's going to be more pace today, and that may help him. He is not exactly a winning type.
He's not, and he's not reliable. And
he's
you
gonna
can
be short.
you can argue that the slower pace dragged him into the race and gave him an advantage last time.
I am arguing that.
You could, right, and I understand that. This horse's 3 races for Rudy since the claim they haven't brought him back to the races he used to run, but he's kind of competitive now, and for this level, those numbers have been a little consistent for Rudy, and that's what I'm looking for in here. I'm looking for some consistency. You know, he's come back from the February break, 2.5 months away, and he's run consistently.
And you check the Rudy box.
And I
You'll
checked the
check
Rudy
the
box.
Mott box a little later,
Yeah,
and
a little
once
later
you've
on,
checked
of
the Rudy
course.
and the Mott box, you're a little more free. I mean, you got to try to sneak at least 1 or 2 more in from them, but the Rudy box is checked right
All
away.
kidding aside, he right now, I don't think you could argue that he's the most reliable of these horses right at this time.
Okay, that's not unfair, but there you have it. Okay,
That's
there
it.
you have
Yep.
it. So flowers for Lisa. I got a stat at Naira for Robertino Diodoro, who absolutely, and you know, we're very friendly. I like and respect him, but they're kind of stinking up the joint so far at this meet, and I don't think they'd argue with that. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean it as, you know, the truth is the truth. Their horses are not running, and this is a barn whose horses run. So that concerns me. And listen, there is no doubt that Flowers for Lisa has seen considerably better days.
Well, Flowers for Lisa was in the hands of George Navarro, who currently is not allowed to practice his trade.
That's fair.
In the United States of America.
That's very fair. It's very fair. I'm taking this horse in the cutback. You know
Okay.
me. I just can't. And Malpay, I'm going to take Malpay. I'm going to use the 5 and 6 here, and I'm going to hope that one of them wins the square
And
price.
listen, if they hit
Malpay
it,
could be speed.
if they kind of hit up front and they go fast enough, he's not fast enough, but he has speed going
well, Flowers
long.
Lisa won't be that far out of
Right.
the base.
He will not be that far out.
of the base.
I agree.
I know you want to say she.
Flowers. I hate
Lisa.
that thought. It's like that all started with this Johnny Cash and a boy named Sue. Don't get me started on that either.
I'm sorry. It all started with a boy named Sue?
Yeah.
You weren't even born when a boy named
But
Sue
that's
was
when it
around,
started.
and you think when it
That's
started.
That's when it started. That's when it started.
Is that the running theme back home?
I called my father about 3 weeks
so
ago
out of your
after a
mind.
couple of beverages here on a Friday night,
So you didn't
ranting
have a few
about a boy
beverages
named
before the
Sue.
show today?
No. I have my
Okay,
still.
on to slightly less ridiculous
my
topics.
still Saratoga war.
Let's take a look at one of our favorite horses from the past decade.
Yes.
You know her, you love her. Winter Memories. Here's Winter Memories' final career race in the 2012 Diana. And it's just, you know what? It never gets old. And, you know, it's funny. I was talking to our president Dave O'Rourke last night, and he said to me, "How about this? What's the last track president that said to somebody?" I hear that first and the second's working really well. So let's get a little tip of the hat to Dave O'Rourke, who's really got his eye. He's gearing up for his appearance. He still tells me he's going to come on Talking Horses one day. Just when he's on, Anthony, be nice to him.
I will. He's my man.
We love Winter Memories. We love Jimmy Toner. The workout reports have been very good on this horse, and I'm going to tell you right now, I hope this horse blows him off the track. Nothing makes me happier than see Jimmy Toner and this bloodline do well. So this horse is apparently working well.
Presidential steam is amazing, right?
Yeah, not a lot of presidential steam.
This was a little weird,
it's
wasn't
first.
It? A Tappet out of Winter Memories, Chestnut.
Yeah.
I kept looking at it. I kept looking on it on Friday. I was like,
apparently you are the only one, because if Dave O'Rourke knew this horse was working well and you didn't, then
I didn't.
Dave will be appearing on Talking Horses for the rest of the meet with me. At least the 2-year-old races. He's getting the steam. Right. He's clearly getting the steam.
My last two steams won. My steam's been okay.
You had some steam.
I had some bad steam.
Yeah, okay. Anyway.
Oh,
right. Wait. Oh, you checked the Chad box. Well, after
you left
not
that
picking
out, but
my
I knew
sister
it was
Nat
coming.
yesterday, the highlight of my day yesterday was telling Chad Brown that Anthony, who's always loved my sister Nat, didn't pick her. That was the highlight of the day. He laughed hard at that. You abandoned her. That was really, you really left your friend. You left at a time of need.
That was bad. And I was in a place yesterday where the screaming commenced at about the 3/16 pole for my sister Nat.
Shouldn't misspell be misspelled?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's American Pharaoh.
Yes.
That's awesome. I just got that. I'm a little slow on that.
This was a good job by Peter Brandt.
There's not a ton of turf pedigree in here.
No. You're hoping the American Pharaoh.
And
Chad's putting her on the turf first time out. I just took a little swing there. Look what I did. I put Chad over Mott. Got that Mott horse home yesterday. He always wins one of those 2-turn races with the turf horses up here.
Does the best horse always get locked in the entire stretch?
That was some trip, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, the number 6 Ice Queen, good luck. I'll say one thing. Cairo Princes are good turf horses. There's no turf pedigree, particularly in the dam side, but Cairo Princes can turf. I got Modest second for George Weaver. I know it's a flatter, but the dam is 1 for 3 with turf production, and I just feel like George Weaver's going to have a runner or two in these 2-year-olds at some point, so I like to throw them into prices.
Yeah, she was 1 for 9 herself, the mare on the turf. Yeah,
word is that Seasons is good, so don't miss race number 2 today in the debut of Winter Memory. She's a foal to, obviously, a very, very nice horse. Winter Sunset.
Winter Sunset, yep.
That was Wayne Catalano?
I believe so.
Race number 3.
Whoa.
Big scratch in here, critical value. The Mott box is officially checked for Anthony. A second and a first choice through 3 races today. Can all breathe a sigh of relief.
I got it done. I got Rudy, Chad, and Mott done in 3 races today.
Now you can start trying to pick races going forward. We'll take a look at Save Ma's last race. I just think she's better than these horses, Anthony. I don't really have much to say.
I don't either. She ran against a stakes type.
Spice's nice ran last time.
Yep, she did. She's
stayed
right on top.
Been a little bit erratic in her races, but she wasn't.
She stayed right on top of this filly and gobbled her up off the turn. Yeah, I mean, nothing else really to say in here. She obviously has to get a little more ground and has to get the 2 turns, but, man,
yeah,
you got to figure she's going to have a – she's. I mean, I would imagine they're going to let Making Sense go and kind of give this filly a target today, don't you?
No.
You don't?
No.
Interesting. I do.
Okay. I know. You don't look at pace figures. Anyway, we'll see what happens in race number 3. Smooth with a kick. Maybe she can get a piece if Seymour runs a race. You've got the 3 second. I don't know.
Yeah. She was good stretching out.
Yeah, she was. No, I agree.
Good.
You're right.
And that filly, that
Smooth with a kick's not reliable.
Yeah. Ocean Breeze is running down in that Autobahn. I actually like Ocean Breeze in that Run Happy Autobahn Oaks. I said Run Happy at Ellis today. So she was good around 1 turn. They tried her 2 turns at Iowa, cut her back. So I'm going to make a 2-3 in here, depending on the price, obviously.
Race number 4, the 2-year-olds again. What did you do in race number 4, Anthony?
I went to Steve Asmussen, the number 7.
Homebred that was homebred but sold at auction. So what's the story about that? But
I don't know.
Sheila Buy and TNT Stud want to get in.
Yeah.
And TNT Stud running in what colors? You don't know this?
Yeah, TNT was Cara Raffaella back in the day.
TNT Stud purchased the Calumet colors years ago, and so their horses run in the old Calumet silks.
Old Calumet colors, yep.
Are
they exact?
They bought them from them. They're the Calumet silks.
Huh.
Which I hate. nothing against them. They didn't do anything wrong. I just see those Calumet runners, and I wish they were running in the Devil Red.
Yeah. No
I'm
steam here. The other Nyquist got the money the other way. Lady Lily.
Yeah.
For the
Want to
barn.
bet her back?
No, she got the money. You right away. You gotta go to negative. You gotta take the left turn to negative town.
The horse ran a 57 buyer.
What do you want me to tell you? The horse got the job done.
If it was a good maiden race, she'd run 8th.
You know, you're like my stepfather. My stepfather wants winners. I give him winners, and he complains about the price. These horses winning, you complain.
I'm not complaining. I'm pointing out that you're saying a horse won, and I'm also pointing out the horse won an incredibly slow maiden race. That would be factual.
But she still won.
I'm adding color, factual color, for the kids at home that are trying to learn the game.
We need, if Seth Klarman is listening, Factual Color would be a great name for an Andy horse. Factual Color is a fantastic
Mr.
name.
Annoying is already going to be running soon.
Mr. Annoying is going to be running soon. That's great, too.
I like, by the way, how perfect a segue into my top selection, Steal My Sunshine.
What you didn't even know was a Len song last time, Andy.
A what song?
A summer hit for the band Len back in 1996, 97.
Yeah, I've never heard of Len.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. And you know what else? I would say 98% of the population hasn't either.
I'm going to take the over. 98? Let's find 100 random people and ask them and get it. You get 3.
It was a real catchy.
And I'll take a couple.
Steal My Sunshine. It was a real catchy summer ditty.
The show is falling apart very, very quickly. I'll give you my story on Steal My Sunshine. She's fast. She's fast.
She was fast that day.
She's
on the
fast.
turf, yeah.
This is a turf. I know that she's a half to Conquest Panthera.
She's a full to Happy Like a Fool.
It's really a dirt family.
Yeah.
There's 3. Happy Like a Fool, some may remember, a stakes winner for Wesley Ward. They just won the matron, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 solid dirt runners.
Yeah.
It's a dirt family. Ran the turf. Now this horse is running on the right surface. You know what else I want to
Conquest Panthera was first, and then all the dirt was after in the pedigree.
Make a great point.
Nice.
This horse kind of ran like a horse that didn't like the turf. Showed that speed and then stopped.
Skipping a little bit and
then
just
stopped. Yeah. So that's my play here.
Okay.
All right. You got Bill Ma 3rd. I got him 4th.
And I got Chad 2nd.
Oh man, I tell you what, you were checking box after box after box. Eventually, at some point, oh wait, and
Hold
now
on a second. Hold on a second. I have Gary Gullo on this board and you don't. Wow. Gary.
Sorry, Gary.
Pay attention to this one.
Casero Commando 2nd.
Man jumped ship. Wow. That was quick.
And now, just to top it all off, a little shug. I mean, this is the most. This is the happiest. Steve Asmussen should be really complimented to be put in the group with all your Mount Rushmore of favorites.
Kidding? I'm trying to see if I picked.
I'm not commenting on that.
Was there a Kristoff today?
Windfall Profit. We'll take a look at Windfall Profit. Let me ask you a question. Are we starting to get a little worried that maybe this race wasn't very good?
Yeah. Because cost benefit obviously did not come back and
now,
run well.
Davima did run 6 buyer points faster.
Right.
And cost benefit lost, but didn't run that badly, relatively speaking. Oh, they slowed up top of the stretch. What happened?
I don't know.
Steve, what happened?
It was like the remix. They went forward and went back.
Anyway, Windfall Profit continued on in that race and didn't do well, but I've got her 2nd. Oh, there she is. They just start speeding up.
There she is.
She
Down
looks
inside.
like Winter Memories.
There's cost benefit. Davima's going to come attack her barn mate and just not be able to get by her. And this filly's down inside. It was the first start off a 2.5-month break, and you could see she's running on in there.
It's tough to gain inside sometimes.
Yeah,
it's not as easy as.
Their horses always seem to be, for the most part, a bit intimidated down inside horses. And
most horses, many horses,
yeah,
not all, but
I said
many
more often than not. I thought she ran well enough to win
sense
last time. Yeah.
I like Linda Scrett. Linda Scrett is a full to a horse that sold for a lot of money that, what's his name? OXO? Larry Best bought over in Europe not long ago. And she did not get what I would call a very good ride in her debut. And then Barkley ran her at 7. I mean, she's a pedigree, the damn beauty parlor. By the way, did Christoph train her?
I don't remember.
He might have. Shug or Christoph for Joe Allen. She was very good going longer. I thought this horse actually ran well, and she was really running at the end. I like Linda Street in this race. I think getting more distance will help her out. We'll see Manny and Barkley. How great was it that Manny won the last race after winning the Travers yesterday? The New York Red Maiden Special Weights. Everything that's good about the game, right?
It was great for a multitude of reasons, including the fact that I bet
I always
her.
kind of stick to something that mattered, not the fact you liked her. Anyhow, Bill Mott fourth. Actually, I know you had to have Bastet second. Why would you want Bastet second in this race, besides your love of Bill Mott? See, I think she's a horrendous favorite, and one of the reasons you want to bet this race, or second choice.
Yeah, I was going to say she can't be the favorite, right? Windfall Profit.
What about her says she wants to go longer? What about her last race makes you want to have her at all?
So Mott ran her long first time, and then cut her back to the 7 last time out. And the fact that he's stretching her back out again leads me to believe that she may have needed her debut, and he still is steadfast in his belief that she wants to go long. Something is showing her.
She's all yours. I'll take the other one.
That she wants to go long.
I'll take the other one. The other one's got some turf pedigree. Is a Mr. Speaker. There's turf on the dam side. And I'll tell you something else. Junior jumps off Bastet to ride Ms. Bombastic.
No.
And Junior frequently rides the live Vermont horses. So that says to me that he agrees with me about the 6 and wants to ride the 2.
Okay. You see an aggressive work tab, too. You know, when I say aggressive, Bill Mott horses ordinarily don't work. You know, you don't see a lot of bullets on Bill Mott work tabs. So
I thought Lady Rosalie was an impossible second off a layoff. This trainer, Brittany Russell, won a race here the other day with a horse that you thought was interesting. I know this horse has figures that fit. Why not use this horse? She's fast enough.
I kind of saw.
I don't think she gets lost.
I feel like I've kind of seen enough of her last year.
Well, but she's second off a layoff and second time for a new trainer. So I think you have to give her one more chance. She may be a proven loser, but let me tell you something. There's no superstars on paper in this race, Anthony.
No. She's not for me, but sure.
Okay.
Break time.
That's the first half of the car. Oh, by the way, race number 5. That kicks off the Empire 6 with that mandatory $1.4 million carryover. We will take a break to hear from our good friends at Saratoga Water. You going to show me how to do this? Okay.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringWater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses, presented by Saratoga Water. He's Anthony Stabile. I'm not. Race number 6 is a super strong non-winners of 1 for fillies and mares, going 6.5 furlongs. I want to start with Papa Choc because she runs back to her last race. This field's in trouble, Anthony. This was some effort. Now, we'll see. Did the rail get good that day? I don't know. The evidence starting to mount that maybe the track didn't change, and maybe she just ran a darn good race. It was her only dirt race, and I know that the Cassie Barn is not running well, particularly, to say the least. But you know what? You going to let this horse beat you in the late pick 5 or the Empire 6?
I am.
Well,
I don't like her today.
That's why you're not going to hit these bets.
Okay. Yeah, I don't prefer her today.
I didn't say I had to prefer her. You going to tell me you don't think she can win?
No,
You've got to have your top 4.
I don't like her today.
Well, you had to have Chad's other horse in your top 4.
I don't
She's
like her
got
today.
a big shot here.
We can lunch bet 6s and 9s.
Oh, good. 9 over 6. 54. 50. I'm up 54
Do it
lunches.
for 2?
He says 1 and 2. Sure.
Can lunch bet 6s and 9s.
So you don't like her? Why don't you like her? She ran too well for you? Too much faster than the horses in this race?
I don't like the race she came out of. I don't like who she beat. I think the rail did get
you really
good
like
that day.
that trip that Harlem Heights got the other day? That was your preferable trip for her?
I don't like the race she came out of.
Okay.
She got to the lead.
One horse came back
going.
and had a rotten trip, and you don't like the race
She got
came
to the
out of.
lead and she kept going.
Yes, she did. You know why? She ran really fast. That's often what happens when you run really fast. You get to the lead and you just keep on going. She got in front of them. Okay. Now, the concern for her is obviously there's a lot of other speed in this race, so she is in all likelihood going to have to rate today. But we'll see. I would never let this horse beat me. She ran terrific last time out. Now, Secondary Market ran well in her breaking her maiden, and she's coming off a long layoff. And she ran a fast figure as a 2-year-old. The one concern I have with her, and I did put her on top, she's a little off the rail here. She was on the rail for a lot of the running, and the rail was the place to be at Belmont. I don't think it was a huge bias. But you've got her on top. And by the way, you know she's beat. You know she's on the rail. By the way, this race is not a tough trip. the horse that finished second to Papachok. So you don't like the race she's coming out of, but this one you like. It's kind of nice, just pointing it out.
Well, one race was, I don't know, 9 months ago.
Okay, but just pointing out, she did beat the same horse.
9 months ago?
She did beat the same horse that secondary market beat. You know what? That horse had a trip in the secondary market race. Just pointing it out.
9 months ago.
Thought I'd just adding color.
9 months ago. And
What was the phrase?
A factual color.
Factual color. Adding some factual color.
And do you think that
To
Papachok ran a better race than secondary market did?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that secondary market will beat her today. But yeah, I think she ran a faster pace. She ran a faster
I didn't say
race.
faster. I said better.
Better. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Well, what did they do differently? Both were on the lead. Secondary market was sitting a
Wasn't
slow pace. The other was sitting a fast.
Wasn't that Shug's first? That was Shug's Phillies debut too.
Yeah, and that was Shug's horse off a long layoff. So actually, it's very comparable. Keep working it. Keep working it.
Okay.
Who else we got in here? Oh, you have Timely Tradition. You know, she's in good form, and I know they're not as good. I will say one thing on Timely Tradition. Her last race was a complete joke. They were absolutely crawling on the front end, and Bertranda was afraid to take her on lest she blow second. So she is dressed up for her last. But she's in great form, and I'm not leaving her out.
The two before that put her right there today.
I'm making an Empire 6 ticket for the Sarah Live show.
Nice.
$102.40 if you want to get involved, or 60 cents or whatever.
You putting Polio flag on it?
Yes, I am putting Polio flag on it. What's not to like about her?
She'll be on mine too. Nothing. She got a little tired late in the game, but she debuted at 7. She cuts back to 6.
Not
She's
great
dangerous.
numbers for that barn coming back off of maiden wins their debuts.
She's dangerous.
The 2-year-old won the other day.
She's a little dangerous.
I completely agree. She's very dangerous in here. Yeah. She may be very good.
She's a little dangerous.
Is that a Phipps family private ensign? The dam? Feels like it should be if it's not, right?
No, I want to say Steve trained private ensign.
Okay, you're probably right.
I want to say it was I want to say it could have been a Helgebrot
what about escape
or a
fund
Winchell.
On the rail. I mean, she ran pretty good in her debut.
She did.
I mean,
she did.
This is a field. I mean, you look at this race. You've got.
She should get a similar setup to the setup she got in the debut.
She got no problem sitting behind horses and taking some dirt. You know, the 1 ran a big maiden race. The 2's a runner. You got the 5. You got the 6 off a maiden win. I don't like primacy at all. But
I know you don't.
Palio flag, Papachok, primacy. By the way, speaking of, you don't like the fields they beat? Really? Oh, by the way, she ran against Back Channel. And Papachok beat her more easily. And that was the second start for her. No,
I don't love the race.
My factual color is burying.
I don't love the front. No, one horse is going to be asked to do something she's never done successfully.
Win 2 races in a row.
She's going to. If Papachok thinks if you think she's going to get in front of these horses as she did last time, you are sorely mistaken.
When did I say that? Didn't I say you should have to rate?
So now she's going to be the second choice, maybe the favorite.
Anthony?
And you're going to ask her to rate for the first time?
I'll tell you one thing that's wrong about the line. Primacy will be a lot bigger price in secondary market. All I said to you was I'm not going to let her beat me in multi-race bets. I didn't say I was betting her. And I think you leave horses out of big carryovers in mandatory payouts. Well, that's how you lose.
But Andy, how many are you going to use? I like other horses.
I use 4. I use the 2, 5, 8, and 9.
Okay. And I'm using primacy instead of
You're wasting
Papachok.
your money with primacy.
And I think you're wasting your money with Papachok.
Okay. No. I'm up 54 lunches. End of conversation. No, I got that. I got that lunch thing, you know.
You keep going to this lunch thing.
I got to have something. I'm getting buried up here. Race number.
You said it. I didn't.
Race number 7. We picked the same horse, race number 7. Aunt Nadine is kind of the horse to beat in here right away, right?
Yeah, and she's obviously a
Take a look at her last race.
She's a must-use.
I don't love this field, though. You have to admit.
Yep. Grudge came back, did not run well yesterday or Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is why Susie Rasher is so useful. In case you didn't know why Susie Rasher is so useful. Private Ensign is the Phipps line. Todd trained her, but the dam, the second dam, was pennant champion, and that, of course, as you know, was a horse that Shug trained. So
pennant champion was one of the personal ensigns.
One for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Aunt Nadine.
Todd trained private ensign, huh? Huh.
Susie's never wrong.
Okay.
And she's certainly not wrong about the Phipps horses as she worked for Shug. Yeah, I don't have a problem with Aunt Nadine. I just think she's super logical in this race.
Yeah. Like you said, don't really love the bunch she came out of. the bunch she faced last time out, but you got to use her.
Talk about Summer Fortune, our top pick.
You got to use the 5 as well, right? You got the 5.
Talk about your top pick and my top pick.
I
Summer
went to
Fortune.
the 10 Summer Fortune.
Because
4 or 5 siblings have won on the turf. She's dropping down. I don't love the drop. I don't love the drop.
Well, you have to ask yourself why Jeremiah, and this is alluding to what you're saying, would be running this horse in the turf for the first time for a tag. Because I think they may lose this horse anyway, because this horse has residual value a little bit. So
she's gone.
She's gone. So that, I agree with you, is a negative. It's not just that 4 or 5 siblings won on the turf, is that they were all better turf horses than dirt horses. So she has a pedigree to move forward. And based on her first race, she has some ability on the dirt. Obviously, she didn't run well at Oaklawn, but none of Jeremiah's horses seem to be running well, particularly well down there. I agree. I don't like this drop. And she's going to be a relatively short price, so she's one I probably shouldn't have picked in here. I'll tell you who I should have put on top. If I had really thought about it and rethought about it and seen the morning line, the 8 Ginger Kitty. Who's riding Ginger Kitty?
I don't know. I didn't get that.
Well, I'm going to look.
Okay.
Just hold your horses there, big boy. Oh, it has to be a rider change. Can't be Louis.
I don't think Louis is riding, right.
Right. Somebody will text me. Somebody paying more attention than me. She actually ran some pretty good races. Now, do I know if she's a sprinter? No, I don't. Do I trust her sprinting? No. But she's going to be a big price. And there's a very strong argument that she's the most talented horse in this race.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yeah, she's, I don't think she's that much of a reach.
She's less of a reach than Stretch the Story. Before you throw her in any of your multis, watch her last race.
Yeah, no, listen, you got to...
We had to get Clement in there
I
somewhere.
have to put a 4th pick up. And
You had to get Clement in
that's
somewhere.
that's where I landed.
I got a feeling that Christoph's going to be featured very heavily in your selections in the next race. I could be wrong, but let's go race. Race number 8 is a very, very hard race. And I wanted to start with a discussion. Oh, Mott. Oh, Mott. Silly me. I was like, thinking, what an idiot I am. I want to start with City Man, who I think is going to be favored because he's stake-faced. The argument for City Man is that he faced a better field. But I also want to point out some of the problems with using computerized services at times for chart calling. And I know I'm not nitpicking here, and I'll tell you why. Source did not lose by 3/4 of a length. Source lost by 1.25 or 1.5 lengths. And you want to say, oh, Andy, does it really matter? You know what? A half length matters for about $5 million worth of winning and losing for any horse player that's been around the game as long as Anthony and I have been. So I think it's important to get the actual differences. That horse didn't lose by 3/4 of a length, and you saw it.
So I believe how that works is
or is it whatever service they're using?
Once they lap on. So
all I know is the naked eye
his
knows
nose was on the rump
not
of
that
the
race.
winner.
No, it was not.
Well,
can we roll
Field Pass won it, right?
Guys, if you can roll it, no, this horse was not on the rump of Field Pass. This horse was a 1.25 behind, minimum 1.25 behind.
You sure about this?
If the guys can, because they can do anything. Oh, no, this is the next race. Okay.
That's all right.
All right,
We're
we'll move
splitting.
on. We'll get back to her. I apologize.
Right, I got you.
I'm taking Our Country, even though there's a good chance he can't run it all anymore. But George Weaver has a habit of having horses seem to come to life in Saratoga. And our chart callers don't miss much in New York. They missed that. That horse was trying to come to that hole and got completely shut off.
Yes,
now, I'm not saying he was going to win by any stretch, but he got all screwed up by that. And he is a horse that's had some races that are good enough. He's going to be a big price. I don't have a problem with either Christophe Clement horse. I actually probably... I don't really care. Shamrock and City Man, flip a coin. To me, they're both good because even though City Man didn't do any running last time, that was a very good field.
Yes, it was.
I know somebody who thinks that Field Pass is going to win the Saratoga Derby next week.
Do they own
I'm not saying that he's... they do. They do. Coincidentally, yes, they do. It was a good call. I don't have any problem with Shamrock. I thought he ran very well. You don't love that race, though. You were against the winner that day.
Yeah, and I think he probably is at his best. I know he ran his fastest race last time, but I think he might be a little bit better with a little bit more ground.
Anthony's getting the same ground he got last time. That's crazy. He ran the best race he ever ran last time. You can't make that stuff up and expect the kids at home to listen to it.
I just said he ran his fastest race last time, but I think he's going to be more successful with a little more ground.
Well, he'll be really good with a little more ground, but that's That's kind of a non sequitur.
Okay.
Talk about what it is, Anthony. You got a horse running the same distance he ran, the same circumstances as last time, the best race he ever ran.
Okay, but hold
and
on
you
a
don't
second.
like him because he wants more ground.
I don't think the winner's much. I don't think the winner's much. He didn't get to the winner. You didn't like Assiduously, who ran very well. I don't
But I
love
like the
race.
winner, who also ran very well.
I don't love the race.
Assiduously improved with blinkers and being aggressively ridden.
I don't love the race, and I think this horse will be
You could
better
just say,
with a little bit more ground.
You got to stop. You got to stop making this stuff up. You do it just to make me crazier.
I don't.
You do, because it makes no sense.
Okay.
Anyhow, Mr. Jaggers, think of the kids.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
young
Mr.
people
Jaggers,
trying to learn the game.
What do you want to do with Mr.
Don't
Jaggers?
tell them fantasy.
It's not fantasy.
It is
It's
fantasy.
my opinion.
But it's based on nothing.
It's based on the fact that he ran 2 points faster last time in going a mile and an eighth. He galloped going a mile and a quarter. He didn't beat much. I think he's better with a little more ground.
He bailout is 0 for
I
50.
just said that.
And we'll move
Look
on.
over
It's even you're
Mr.
not even defending your
Jaggers-
position with that
Mr.
nonsense.
Jaggers did not have a clean trip 2 starts back. He had a much better trip last time. He got the job done. This is a horse that the barn's been high on since he was a 2-year-old. And I just think that this horse starts to get himself, he comes off the August to April layoff. He's got some races under his belt now, and I think he can get himself into a rhythm racing-wise and get on a schedule. I think he's going to be,
you're a learned man.
Really, really tough today.
I agree with you.
Really tough.
I actually agree with you. I think he's one of the horses to beat.
He's the horse in here. I feel like that if he goes and wins by 3 today.
He's not winning by 3. But
Well, I think he's the only one that can do that in here.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's the only horse in here that I think can really beat up on these horses. I think there's a chance you can see 4 of them hitting the line, and I
beat
can
Bay
see him
Street
leading
Money
them.
by a length. Bay Street Money by a length last time. How did he do? We were second. Right?
Again,
Really
like I said, I believe he is getting himself into a rhythm.
But he did beat a horse that came back and was a no-show in the first race yesterday, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just pointing
That was
out.
a weird race, though, yesterday.
Okay, but he did
Right?
beat a horse.
50.
You're a
Fletcher's
man
horse
who's
never-
making judgments about races left and right, and I do want to point out that he beat a horse that was a complete no-show yesterday.
Right, but he was
Don't
no-show
you want
yesterday.
the people at home
what
to
did
know
they,
that?
What did they go? They
Don't
went
try
like
to
50.
avoid this.
They went like 50 to the
I
half.
understand.
The
Having
favorite
said
got the
that,
control
he
without
beat-
the Fletcher horse going to the lead.
Well, the Pleasure Horse trailed the field the whole way. Obviously, came on the turf and run.
Right.
And I agree with you. I'm surprised by that. But
Yeah.
forgetting about all that, he did beat a horse that came back and was a no-show in a maiden race yesterday, and he wasn't a very big price yesterday.
No, it was like second choice.
Okay, so if you're going to use those concepts of not liking races and talking about them for one horse, you've got to at least mention it for other horses, right? It doesn't just happen to not work because you like a horse. It is relevant, right?
Of course it's relevant.
Okay, that's all.
I leave you to nitpick.
It's not
That's what-
nitpicking. It's adding color.
Right, but a
Once
factual call.
It's factual color.
But again, do we just dismiss the dynamics of the race yesterday?
No. Well, no, but that horse was awful yesterday. But no, I don't. And by the way, I like Mr. Jaggers too, and I could have put him on top. I don't have any argument with this pick. I'm just, if you're going to try to just make up arguments for one horse, you've got to use them for all the horses.
What
You
about
can't-
Chad's horse? What about the 6 Forever Poe here?
I'm going to tell you something. They should just walk Chad over to the Hall of Fame. He should be in there anyway.
Well, hold on a second.
Throw
Hold
him
on a
in
second.
there if this horse.
Hold on a second. Source gets beat 4 lengths in his debut to Turn Aside, who's a stakes winner. They run him on dirt for whatever
Maybe
reason.
he's a sprinter.
Okay. Then he comes back in the mile race,
Maybe you should turn him back, Chad.
runs out of real estate, and then he wins going the mile and an eighth. He makes up a ton of ground from the quarter pole home.
Anthony,
He's got to get a lot faster. I'm not saying he doesn't have to get a lot faster.
so unless Chad found a new engine for him, the backstretch.
It's 7 months. It's a trainer upgrade. I don't know.
It's a trainer upgrade. I will give it that.
This horse. He's going to be 8 to 1. He's going to be
Chad
his
Brown's
winning
bigger
line.
prices than me.
Yeah, I think this horse can. I think this horse can make some noise today. Even if he can't win, I think he can get into the exotics.
You couldn't put him behind 2 Clement horses. I mean, what are you going to do? How are you going to face him? You got to get him in there somewhere. I had a bet with a friend of mine. I said, Anthony probably has to pick, the third mod of the day, endorsed, because not only is he, as we turn to the 9th race,
Not only is he the most
likeliest winner,
yeah.
he's trained by Bill Mott. Here's his race to Westchester.
And
but I
together,
said,
you keep forgetting Joel Rosario.
you know that Anthony won't be able to resist the last place finisher and putting him somewhere close, but he can't put him in front of endorsed, but he did put the last place finisher second. I do give you credit for that.
Okay, so do you want to bet me a lunch that It's All Relevant doesn't run last?
Yes, for sure.
Okay,
yeah,
done.
I'd love to.
Okay.
I'd be happy to. I don't want to really root for him to run last, but he's going to run last,
Great.
so I'm happy to take
Okay,
a lunch from
we
him.
got it.
Everybody has to finish. Everybody has to finish.
Okay.
I can't pick against Endorsed. I just
How
think
are you
he's
gonna pick
better than
against
these horses. Well, let me say something. It's not 100%.
And don't go by this morning line because Tenfold came out of this race about 45 minutes ago. I
He wasn't the longest shot on the board?
Tenfold was the longest shot on the board.
He wasn't? He had no shot. Plodding, slow horse. I agree. Endorse is going to be 4 to 5 in here. I agree. And that's fair. I'll be honest with you, and I like Endorsed. I think he's run really well. He's done well for Mott. He ran well for Kieran. He's just a good horse. He's just better than these horses, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Except Bodie Express. Bodie Express has his days. And this race, this was, by the way, one of the worst race calls. This was the worst race call of 2020. Wasn't this the race where the announcer didn't see the winner coming, even though you could see the horse on the outside third? Yes. This was a badly missed race call. You didn't realize this was a fast pace that was collapsing. This was somewhat of a meltdown, and this horse still held on for third. It's a pretty good horse. He's a nut job. It's a pretty good horse, Anthony.
So those two best races came at Gulfstream Park West.
Who cares? No, who cares?
All yours. I never liked this horse.
Okay.
So it's never made any sense to me.
Okay, he's clearly so far and away the second leg. How is It's All Relevant going to beat him?
He's
On
going to
what
sit.
planet?
He's going to sit off Bodie Express.
If Rudy didn't trade It's All Relevant, you would have him last.
No, I would absolutely,
You would have him last.
not.
You would absolutely have him last.
Absolutely not.
100% have him last.
So we already have the It's All Relevant not going to run last. You want to give me 2 to 1? He beats Bodie Express.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. 2 to 1. 2 to 1. 5 over 4, and 4 is last. Yes. They're actually kind of coupled bets, don't you think? You can't get into this at home. I know you want my side. I know you do. You can't. Anthony's going to run out of the track quickly. What are you doing today?
Prime.
Oh, you're going to be at Prime today? Nice. So if you want, maybe there'll be
I
some
think
little
we're sold
side
out.
action at Prime. What's that?
I think we're sold out.
But if you already have tickets, they became more valuable.
And I'll be joined by Brian and Sherry Courtney, Acacia's parents. They'll be
Nice.
joining me for lunch
Very
for the
nice.
day.
It's a lovely place to spend a day in
It
the
is.
afternoon.
Nice, beautiful
We had a
day,
nice
too.
dinner the other night sitting
We
outside.
did?
We did. It was a lovely time.
We did.
Believe it or not, Anthony, I actually like each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine that.
Alidar's before your time, right?
Right around. I can't say much about this because my mom is the biggest Affirmed fan in the world, and she might not let me. I'm going home for a few days. She might not let me in tonight.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't let him in either. I was a huge Affirm fan too, but as time went on, I became a bigger Alidar fan.
Okay.
He was, and just because you're an Affirm fan doesn't mean you can't appreciate the brilliance of Alidar. And I think because Alidar,
I don't know about that.
Alidar
Okay.
became one of the great sires of all time as well.
Absolutely.
His legacy was remarkable. Of course, the sire of your favorite horse, Easy Goer.
Of course.
And I tell you something, I still remember his Whitney. I can still remember I was standing around the 8th pole behind the seats upstairs watching him blow through on the inside win that race. I would say if it wasn't for Affirmed on this earth, he might have come away with one of the greatest records in the history of racing because it wasn't
Yeah, you
just
think about that.
Affirmed was great and
7
beat
to
him,
3.
but it was just like he just couldn't get by Affirmed. Like he just, it was one of those things.
Right, just think about all the races he would have won the Triple Crown. Think about all the races he would have won, and then
But when Affirmed wasn't around, he ran. The Whitney's probably the best race he ever ran.
and then you combine that record with his stud career.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
He's Seattle. You talk about him like you talk about Seattle Slope.
Yeah. No, he was right. He's not remembered the same way. You're right because he got finished executive Affirmed, and those that was relatively early in my life at the racetrack. I was here for the Hopeful when they met up. Still had the $100 window back then, which is now the women's room in the clubhouse here, with the old tickets and stuff. And I saw the Belmont live, and of course the Travers. But I loved Alidar, and I love we have a race name for him. He was such a great horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think about those, and those Affirmed Alidar. When you had Steve Cawthon and the Cawthon phenomenon at the time, it was incredible.
Remember being in.
Were you seeing those races live? Were you at the track like for the Belmont, or was that?
I think Mom took me. Yeah, I think we were there. 78. I was 15 months probably. I don't think I can't
don't
imagine
remember
she
it?
missed the Belmont. No.
You didn't take any tough beats earlier.
I
today.
do remember. I do remember being in 8th grade social studies, 9th grade social studies actually, and Jim Miller he was subbing for the day. Mrs. Wagner was out off for the day.
Mrs. Wagner.
And he went to we were playing Trivial Pursuit, and he said something like, "We want to play Trivial Pursuit." He's like, "We'll play Trivial Pursuit if you can answer one sports question." And he goes into the box and he says, "Who did? Oh, you guys will never get this. Who did a firm beat in all 3 Triple Crown races?" I was like, "Alley Dog, get the board out." It was so great.
Tremendous.
Got him right away. It was awesome.
How could he think nobody would know a racing answer?
I was the biggest hero in room
tremendous.
204 at
That's tremendous.
Robert H. Goddard Junior High School that day.
Well, hero or goat, I retweeted something from Rob Massiello this morning, and he said, you see that? I'll be singling Rob's part owner,
my
Pier
man
40.
Rob.
I'll be singling Pier 40 in the Empire 6. What could possibly go wrong? I did the same thing in the ticket I put up as we turned to race number 9 with Pier 40.
It's like bungee jumping, right?
And here we go back to the winter of 2019.
Wow.
These were simpler times. I mean, this horse, he's been kind of a whipping boy for a long time, and he is a tough horse to ride at times. I mean, dude, if he hasn't found the right field today, there's no right field out there for him. I can't pick anybody else in here. There are a couple of wise guy type horses.
I put him third. I
Well,
couldn't
you're
do it.
ridiculous. So Bill Mott doesn't train him.
I couldn't
Bill Mott
do it.
trained him, you'd have him third.
I couldn't do it.
He's so much the horse. He's so much better than these horses that even he is going to have a hard time losing this race. I don't know why they ran him on turf. Maybe he needed a race last time. Gets back to the surface, dry surface, and all his dry races are just so much better than these horses. It's supposed to be a joke, honestly. Maybe he won't win, but I got Brunate second. I'm not even sure I should have him at all. He was awful last time.
I put Brunate on top. I put Rudy from Speed from the Rail on top. David has Pier 40 4-1.
Well, David's
You guys
wrong.
think he
David's
can't
wrong.
lose?
He's going to be an overwhelming favorite. David's 100% wrong.
Okay.
There's no. You think he's right? Because we can bet lunches on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet the lunch on this because I could see him.
Wrong.
I could see David being right, and I could see him being 7-5.
I will buy David dinner at the most expensive restaurant of his choice outside of Per Se or Bar Massa when restaurants reopen at some point in New York if this horse isn't favored. Since
That's
I've
a legally
ridiculed
binding.
such.
That's factual color, and that's a legally binding
Happy to
contract.
have David's company anyway, but he can go wherever he wants, basically. God, this horse will be favored in this race. How is he not?
He'll probably be favored.
I mean, I know he is, but
Right.
I mean, these
Well,
horses.
the problem is we all know who he is, right?
A couple of weirdos in here. I guess the 5 Boston Billy. That was a bad crew, and I watched the race. And the 2 Always Funny, who I tried last time,
It's a
actually didn't
motley
run
crew.
that badly. So I would have them in. But, I had to put up this. The thing is, I had to put up a ticket on here and keep it at $100, $102 for the show. I would rather spread in the earlier races and live with this one. I just would, because this was
you
supposed
singling
to
him?
win. Yeah. I don't.
Wow. You and Massiello.
That's
have been,
one of the reasons that single has really hurt so many people in playing bets, to think you need a single in these bets, because if you put tickets on the air, you do have to find a single. Otherwise, you can't make the ticket.
Especially
for
today,
not
because
too much
those
money,
earlier
right.
races, there's some doozies
but
in
it's
that.
a terrible,
in this
terrible concept.
in this sequence.
You shouldn't always be looking for a single. You should be playing multi-tickets, and you should be reading Exotic Betting by Steve Christ if you haven't. 'Cause it's a great way to
You're
bet.
not singling endorsed?
No, I think Bodie Express can win.
Okay.
Unlike you, I'm holding on to sanity, or the last thread of it. You going home?
I'm going to Prime and then I'm going home. A couple of days. I'll be back Wednesday.
play-
Don't worry.
could
I'll be
play
sitting
mini
right here
golf.
Wednesday.
We need to find out where to play mini golf.
We'll go to the Lake George next
Is it
week.
open?
Yeah.
We sure?
Yeah. Lake George is hopping, apparently.
Well, I don't know if I want to go there.
Which
Anyhow,
is why I was surprised you asked about mini golf.
need to go to Naira Bets if you're not a member of Naira Bets. We will match up to $200 of your initial deposit. Use the promo code SPA. Become a member of Naira Bets. Support racing in New York. Also, you know it, mandatory giveaway. Paying out that pool just under $1.4 million in the Empire 6, starting in race number 5 today, 5 through 10. And playing through Naira Bets. You know why? Because it's the right thing to do.
It is.
What else we got? We got the $5 bonus. Bet 25 or more to win on the last race here on the 4th at Del Mar. And you get $5 for free. Also, we have a cross-country